me as we welcome Felix Ayoola to speak to us about graphic design and open source.
Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. Um, okay, my name is Felix, and I'll be talking about graphic design and open source. So, in 2019, somebody sent me a link to this thing that has blue colors, and they said the name of the thing is Oktoberfest. And they're like, oh, you're supposed to contribute to it, and you get a shirt after the whole month and stickers and things like that. And well, I tried. I checked. I went to the website, but I didn't even know how I was supposed to, start how to add anything to everything that was. Everything was just like gibberish. And after a while, the month, after October, you can't contribute to Oktoberfest anymore, so you have to wait till the next year. And the next year, I tried to contribute again, but this time I just felt like, okay, I contributed code instead, because I didn't exactly know how you're supposed to contribute to open source as a designer. Now, one thing that is very important is that how many of you know this Burna Boy song? Uh, it goes, nothing way person never see. Now, you know how like that song is like really, really interesting, right? Do you know that it sampled Angelina Kidjo in that part? Like she already like sang the song like very, very, long ago. And like when you look at the music that Burna Boy makes now, for example, the one we just, sang together now, you look at them as masterpieces. You look at them as things that they are great work of, art, but he is also building on the foundations that people that have come before him had already laid down. Things that, beats that they made, that they, opened up to the community and things like that. So when it comes to design, how can we do this? How can this happen for us? I'm not going to lie to you, it is very hard for designers to get into open source, but it's not as hard as it seems. Now, the first thing is that what does open source even do for designers? So when you start as a designer, it becomes hard for you to, get experience and tell other people that, okay, I've done this, I've done that, I've done this. You're looking for a job. But open source gives you this platform that you can start with. You can contribute to projects that exist, projects that everybody uses, projects that presidents, head of, industries in places use, and you would see your stuff and say, okay, this, I'm the one that made this, I'm the one that made that. Now, sorry, I'm just going to run through the slides. Sorry. Yeah, first off, open source is not for just developers. I'm very sure that there are a lot of people here that are not developers. If you're not a developer, let me see your hand up. Okay, yeah. Thank Adorat. Okay, so yeah. During NSAS, right, it became very important that, as designers, people like designers get involved because we needed to create awareness. You needed to make posters. You needed to make things that you can use to talk to other people about the things that were going on. And yeah, this was made by Chukwueze Adeze Victoria. She made these posters. It was printed, like it was a lot. And in different languages, Yoruba, Hausa, and like a lot of other languages like that. And these things were used to create awareness among, people that were not necessarily on Twitter to understand what NSAS is, because they were just saying, oh, NSAS is this, NSAS is that. Even the government tried to, change the narrative that, okay, they're just, spoiling things up and down. But this was one way in which we were able to get across to people that were not on Twitter and tell them that, okay, this stuff that you're hearing, this is what it is actually about. And this is another, these are BRT standards. So you see designs on BRT, right? And let's say you're a junior designer that somebody just employed today and you want to design for BRT. You don't necessarily know the dimensions that you're supposed to design for. So if Oluwa went to the trouble of measuring the size of the various types of BRT buses, because they are not just one makers, there are a lot of sizes. He went to the trouble of measuring and coming up with this. There's a whole PDF that has about 4 different type of buses that you can design for. This is open class. If you're a designer here and you know about open class, let me see your hands up. Okay, so open class was started by Oyeleye Ogunsoya, and what he did was that he would make illustrations and then he would post the how you can make that illustration. He will post them on Twitter and ask you to do that illustration. So what you do is you post your own illustration that you made from his instruction that he gave. So if it's an icon, it will give you the precise measurements that you're supposed to use. Look at that last illustration. You can even see the grids that you just look at. Place your own circles just like that, your lines and things like that to create your own illustration. Now, this is some of the posters that Timi Bolariwa made during last year when we were having protests for rape and things like that. So he made these posters to educate people. And this picture really went very far. A lot of people use them as their DP and things like that. You've got this one is very huge. So when you want to design for iOS, you have to follow their design system, right? And this is Joy Banks went through the trouble of creating a whole design system of components. So all you have to do if you want to design for iOS, after you get what exactly it is you're trying to design, will be to just pick different components, put them together, and your applications are good to go. These are typefaces that Google fonts, everybody, a lot of people use them. Even all the typefaces that are for these events that are available on Google Fonts. Though, it's designers that actually contribute these typefaces to Google Fonts. It's not like Google designs typefaces by themselves. Designers, typeface designers, design typefaces. They upload them to Google Fonts for everybody to, download and use. This is Font Share, is like Google Fonts too, and same thing. They have free typefaces there. These are logos that Isaac Zara designed for various open source projects and communities. It does that a lot. And these are there are materials that you need to, onboard clients or manage your processes as a designer. They are supplied by Fungi Dube. So all these things, there are ways that various people have contributed as graphic designers, as designers to open source. So you don't necessarily have to wait till you can get a pull request on GitHub, or you can, the whole process is just too wild. You can start small. You can share your process. How do you onboard clients? What are your process? Some people have Notion frameworks that they use to get clients on board for their work. You can share that with people. That's how you contribute as a designer. You share that with everybody in the community. Say, okay, guys, this is how I do this. How do you do your own pricing? You can organize community events. You can organize tutorials to talk to people about all these things. This is how you contribute. When you see causes like NSAS, you see causes that you can contribute to as a designer. Not everything that has to do with open source has to go through GitHub. if you know that you have an issue using the platform, you can start like this. So when I started designing, what I used to do was that I worked with like tech communities, and when they have events like they have tech events, I help them to make their designs for free. That's my way of contributing to that. So you don't have to wait for a structured stuff, because for the structured contribution to design, we spoke about it a lot at Sustain yesterday. There are a lot of challenges and there's a very long way to go as designers. Now, there is a platform called Open Source Design that you can go to. You would see a lot of issues, companies that need designers for open source projects. Some of them even pay for it. So you would see all these things. You can go there and ask for, you want to contribute to this project, they will ask you. But the problem is that getting onboarded to this project is even hard. So you have to be somebody that is very determined. If it's just devs, you can just go to one repository on GitHub and do your stuff, and like you'll be fine. So that will come to the end of my talk. So everyone, I want you to know that as designers, you can contribute to open source. Thank you very much.